Hey everyone, and welcome to today's video. This is a Legend of Zelda treasure chest speed paint. This speed paint took roughly 10 hours to complete, and I've condensed it down into a 15-minute video. And so yeah, so we're just going to talk about a bit about the process that I used and go from there. So essentially the first thing I did is, as you can tell, I sketched the main idea out on paper, and then I just took a picture of the image with my phone and just sent it to myself on the email, and then opened it up in Clip Studio Paint, where I then proceeded to do the main line art, as is what you are watching right now. When we get further along into the video, you'll see that I actually ended up adding some extra items that are not shown here. And you can also see that when you look at the final product on either my Instagram or Redbubble account. And this came about because I have been playing Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, and I just got the idea to, you know what, let's draw the treasure chest filled with all the items that Link could possibly need on his quest. Like, I've been using fairies to help heal me when I die. I finally got the Hylian shield. I got the Hylian shield when I was playing as a child Link, which was partially a mistake because I did not realize that he just turned into a turtle whenever I tried to block. So it made fighting the Deku monsters that shot the Deku seeds at you rather difficult, so slightly regretted that, but otherwise I made it work, so it was fine. We made it work. So I really wanted to make some fan art for this game that I've just been enjoying playing for the past while. As you can tell, a lot of these are items that I have gathered in-game, which is why I've drawn them. The Deku shield is what I'm working on currently, as you see on screen. You can see one of the fairy bottles, and actually right now is what I'm working on, is the fairy bottle. The fairies, I love having the fairies with me whenever I go into battle, because I know that they will heal me if I die, which is helpful, because I'm currently on I'm currently Adult Link, and I'm currently fighting the fire. I can't remember. I think it starts with a V, but the Gorgon's enemy is who I'm currently fighting, and I keep dying. So the fairies kind of very much help there. I'm also fond of the throwing the bombs, which is why I drew 3 of them. I tend to have like a lot of bombs. I don't use my bow and arrow all that much unless I need to. The compass I haven't really figured out how to use, but I added it in there because it's sort of a staple in the dungeons to get, is the compass. And of course the Master Sword, gotta have that to defeat Ganondorf? Do we just say Ganon or Ganondorf? I think I've heard both. Just so you know, a fun fact, for the Master Sword and the Hylian shield, and also the Deku shield, they are the only items that I really actually had a reference image up on my computer when working on those. For the bow, as you can tell, at first I tried doing it sort of like freehand, but then I actually ended up looking up at a picture of what the bow looked like, and I just went loosely off of that to draw that guy. And I didn't focus on making sure the entire thing was drawn because I was going to be stuffing it into the chest anyway, so it's like, the other part doesn't need to be seen. I'm going to be cutting it in half anyway. And I wanted to fix the lid of the chest because it just seemed wonky to me, so I just wanted to just make that all nice and smooth. And right now I'm working on the picture of the dungeon map. And I fixed the lock up there because I noticed that was bothering me. And as you can tell, I'm just copy pasting the rupees and the bombs and adding some rolled up maps. At first I was going to draw little designs on them, but then I decided not to because I was like, nah, just too much work. So I just drew them wrapped in some type of material. And now we just add more fairies. I wish I had like 3 bottles so I could have 3 fairies, but I only have 2 in the game, which is sad, and Now we're just going through and getting rid of all of the lines that we don't need, that don't need to be shown. And I was having difficulty finding all the lines for the treasure chest, so I just changed the color into a silver color, as you can tell. And so yes, now we're just getting into the painting process. I did everything, just the base color of what the chest was going to be, and I did the outline in silver, and now we're just working on the Hylian shield, coloring it in a blue, and then adding silver to the edges, and just coloring it in. This process was actually it was fun for me to do. I greatly enjoyed just going through and just sort of gauging what the colors were, not worrying about using the color picker tool with the images. So, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was somewhat challenging because these are items that I don't actually normally draw, so it was fun working outside the comfort zone of that. The Deku shield, I just decided to go ahead and mess with the textures and just see if I can get it like a wood feel, which is why you see all these attempts at different textures and the changing of opacities and everything. And I think it turned out pretty good. I think I got the colors right. And next we just worked on coloring in the bombs and everything and making sure they're all colored. And yeah, so it was rather fun. I greatly enjoyed coloring this in. But yeah, I think the longest process was either between the line art and coloring in this piece. See, right now we're just coloring the hookshot piece, and I had trouble figuring out the color that I wanted to use, but eventually I did figure it out, as you can tell. And then the compass was another one that was like, man, what color is this compass? So I did manage to find a good color for that one as well. No, it's blue, but what shade of blue? It seems to be the running theme of Link's items is just they're blue, but what shade? And yeah, the map was kind of a pain, sort of, to color in. I finally just decided to color the outside and then just select everything else, then bucket tool, and I wanted to sort of do the whole concept of oh, now we're just fixing stuff. But with the green colors, I just want to do the concept of, like, you know, how when you open the map, and it'll be, like, different colors to signify rooms that you've been in, rooms that you haven't been in, and that's sort of what I was going for with that. And, you know, as I was coloring, I noticed that there were lines that needed to be fixed. As you can tell right here, I'm just doing a lot of cleanup work for the line art and for the colors, just so that way nothing looks wonky. And I was just going to finish coloring in the map. I didn't use a specific map for this, I just sort of like just drew the shapes. That's what I thought the map was. And so yeah, so as you can see according to the map, where there's one room that I haven't gone to, and there is the boss room leading up to the boss room that I haven't gone to. And yeah, so I just did that, and I wanted to add a purple rupee in to sort of like, even though I think it's hard to find purple rupees. I think I found like 1 or 2 of those. So yeah, and then the rest, I just did the general, you know, main rupee colors of red, blue, and green. And I think I added 1 more purple rupee in there because I wanted to have like an even number of rupees, sort of like had an even number of bombs. three. I get odds and even mixed up, you know, just. But yeah, I wanted them to match, okay? Just let me have my matchings. Do it. Man, I'm pretty sure I did 1 more purple. Just check out the line out so I can check stuff. Yeah, I did 1 more purple. And so yeah, and then we're just gonna work on the bow. The bow was a pain because the individual marks for the wrappings made it very difficult for me to figure out, not figure out, what I was clicking for it to add on to it. And so yeah, so we're just doing that right now, and you can sort of see how I just gave up doing the individual clicking, and I just sort of just selected everything. And now we're just going through and just making sure everything is nice and neat, and cleaning up those edges. And now we're just working on the Master Sword, which of course I brought up an image on screen, so I just sort of like see what it was, and make sure that I color picked similar colors to it. I think it was the main thing that I color picked on. I did not do color picking for the fairies. I went off of memory because I knew they were pink for the healing ones. The bottles I was actually really happy with, because I think this is about like my third or fourth time working with glass, and then doing the glowing effect was interesting to figure out, because trying to do a glowing fairy while trying to remember how to do the glowing effect properly was like racking my brain. Which is why you see that sort of effect, and sort of fixing that up there, doing the glowy part. And now we're working on the shading. I think this one was mainly for the treasure chest itself. I tried doing the, sort of subtracting the shadows and then erasing it, but then I decided not to. So I just selected certain items and worked on just adding in the shadows as I saw fit, which I thought worked a lot better with this piece, because I could actually see where the shadows would be, and I had a general idea of where I wanted the shadows to hit and how it would hit the items. So that's sort of what I went off of, my mental image, and you'll sort of see how some of them changed, once I added certain items and certain shadows, and sort of thought about, will the shadows actually hit here? Will the light hit here? How does this look in general? So, and some of it I just, I winged it. I was like, this seems right. I think one of those was the fairy bottles, 'cause I was like, there's glow there. Does it actually hit? I don't know. I think the bottles and the bombs were the ones that I was like, sort of like the most iffy. The map, I was just like, there's a shadow there, and those bottles down there, obviously. Just all the guessing. I'm like, this seems accurate for this. The shield is one of those, not this part. I'll show it later. And I just added the shadows for the strings and everything, just to make those pop a bit more. And we're just changing the opacity and everything. And this part right here, you can sort of see where I had the mistake for the shadow, and that's me right now fixing it, because I was like, that's not accurate, and so that's why that changed. And I did a few more layers of the shadow and just added different opacities to it, and we just added on the highlights, which is something that I was really looking forward to, and I felt it really brought the piece together, adding in those white highlights for those pieces, and it's something that I'm really glad I added on to it. This piece, it was sort of like, I got the inspiration from ABD Illustrations. I'll leave a link to the stuff in the description, but their work is amazing, and I got the inspiration to do the highlights from them, because I noticed they do that on some of their drawings, and I can't talk, so I'm sorry. Sorry about that. So yeah, and now we're just adding more texture for the treasure chest, to give it more of like a wood grain feel. And you just see I'm just adding like multiple different textures for that. And so yeah. and now we're just adding on a light source, which hadn't been my plan in the beginning, but once I finished the piece, I was like, let's see what happens if I do this, see how this changes the drawing. Excuse me, pardon me. And I greatly enjoy it. I'm really glad that I decided to add that little lighting effect because I think it really brought out the piece. And so yeah, that's it. That is the complete drawing of the Legend of Zelda treasure chest. And yeah, that is essentially it. Thank you guys so much for being a member of my Patreon. I greatly appreciate it. And I really, really hope that you stay for more adventures. And if you want to, please feel free to follow my YouTube channel, where you will see this video without me talking. Anyway, take care, be safe, remember you are loved, and I will see you all next time. Bye!